Now we go straight to the next, and that's number 41. A number is selected at random. Number 41. 41. A number is selected at random from 40 to 50 inclusive. That means 40 and 50 are also included. Find the probability that the number is prime. Okay, probability that the number is prime. What are the prime numbers from 40 to 50? Probability that number is prime will be equal to 40 is not prime, 41 is prime. That's 1. 42. Okay, 41 is prime. 42 is not prime. 43 is prime. 44 is not prime. 45 is not prime. 46 is not prime. 47 is prime. 48 is not prime. 49 is 49 prime. 49 is not prime. 50 is not prime. So there are just 3 prime numbers from 40 to 50. So the probability of selecting that the number is prime is going to be 3 over how many numbers are from 40 to 50? That's 40, 41, 42, 43. If we count 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, that's 11 numbers. So the probability that if a number is selected from 40 to 50, it is a prime number will be 3 over 11. And the correct option is A. Now to the next, which is number 42. There's a diagram for that. It says the bar chart represents the distribution of marks scored by students in an economics examination. Use the bar chart to answer questions 42 to 44. How do we do that? How do we use the bar chart to answer questions 42 to 44? Let's see that. 42 says if the failed mark was 4, what is the probability that a student selected at random passed? Okay, probability that a student selected at random passed will be number of students who pass divided by the total number of students. Let's see. The horizontal axis represents marks, while the vertical axis represents scores. So how many students scored 1? 3 students scored 1. How many students scored 2? 6 students scored 2. How many students scored 3? 9 students scored 3. How many students scored 4? 1 student scored 4. How many students? 1 student scored 4. How many students scored 5? 12 students scored 5. How many students scored 6? 7 students scored 6. How many students scored 7? 7. How many students scored 7? 5 students scored 7. We can see that. How many students scored 8? 10 students scored 8. Now, probability that a student selected at random failed is the number of students who failed divided by the total number of students. If the failed mark was 4, that means anybody who scored 4 and below, anybody who scored 4 or less failed. So the number of students who passed will be those who scored 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that will be 12. 12 students scored 5 plus those who scored 6, that's 7, plus those who scored 7, that's 5, plus those who scored 8, and that's 10, all over total number of students. Let's find the total. 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19, plus 12 is 21, plus 12 is 31 rather, plus 7 is 38, plus 5 is 43, plus 10 is 53. So the probability that a student selected at random passed will be 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10 divided by 53. So let's do that here. 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10, that's 34 divided by 53. That's 0.64. Let's write that. 0.6415. 0.6415. And let's see. The options are given correct to 2 decimal places, and that's 0.64. We go straight to the next, which is number, and the correct option is A. We go to the next, which is number 43. What percentage of the students scored at most 5? The percentage of the students who scored at most 5 will be those who scored 5 or less. That will be those who scored 5 or less. Percentage of students who scored at most 5 will be those who scored 5 or less, and that will be those who scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's what number of students who scored 5 or less, which will be 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 1 plus 12 divided by, that's those who scored 3 plus those who scored 1, which is 3, plus those who scored 2, which is 6, plus those who scored 3, which is 9, plus those who scored 4, which is 1, plus those who scored 5, which is 12, divided by the total number of students, which is 53, times 100%. And that simply means, what's that? 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 1 plus 12. 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 1 plus 12. That's 31 divided by 53. That's 0.5849 times 100%. And the answer is 58.49%. 58.49%. And that's the percentage of students who scored at most 5. And the options are given correct to one decimal place. This is the same as 58.5%, and the correct option is B. We go straight to the next, which is number 44. What's 44? How many students scored at least 3 marks? The number of students who scored at least 3 marks will be number of students who scored 3 marks and above, and that will be number of students who scored 3 marks and above, and that will be those who scored, this is 3, this is 6, 3 marks and above. That will be 9 students scored 3, plus 1 student scored 4, plus 12 students scored 5, plus 7 students scored 6, plus 5 students scored 7, plus 10 students scored 8. So number of students who scored at least 3 marks will be 9 plus 1 will be 9 plus 1 plus 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10. Let's check that again. 9 plus 1 plus 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10. And that, let's see that. 9 plus 1 plus 12 plus 7 plus 5 plus 10. And that's 44. 44 students scored at least 3 marks. And the correct option is C. We go straight to the next, which is number 45. Number 45. Let's see. What's number 45? 45. That's a piece of cake. I can already see. If log 3 base A is equal to M. If log 3 base A equals M, and log 5 base A equals P. Find log 75 base A. Okay, log 75 base A. Log 3 base A is M, and log 5 base A is P. How do we find log 75 to base A? Log 75 base A is the same as saying log 75 is 25 times 3. So that's the same as saying log 3 times 25. Log 3 times 25 to base A, which is the same as saying log 3 base A plus log 25. 25 is 5. Let me write it this way: log 25 base A, and that's the same as saying log 3 base A plus log 5 raised to power 2 base A, which is the same as log 3 base A plus 2 log 5 base A. And that simply means log 3 base A is M, so that means M plus 2 times log 5 base A is P. That's m plus 2 times P, which means m plus 2P. And the correct answer is C. The correct option is C, m plus 2P. And then we go straight to the next, which is number 46. That's another piece of cake. No matter how tricky a circle geometry question is, you'll be able to do it. Just know all of the theorems. Now let's see. There's a diagram here, number 46. There's a diagram here. Or let me put it here, 46. This is 46. Now, this is a diagram. Let me draw the diagram first. Another very, very simple question. Maybe I can make the diagram a little better. Yeah, this is a diagram. Just learn the rules, and any question on circle geometry will always be a bonus. This is M, this is N, this is R, and this is O. This angle is 124 degrees, while this is 48 degrees. Yeah, let's read let's get the information now. In the diagram, M and R are points on the circle center O. That means O is the center of the circle. Angle ORN is equal to 48 degrees, and angle RNM is equal to 124 degrees, as shown in the diagram. Find angle OMN. That's a piece of cake. OMN. This is the angle we want to find. We want to find this angle. How do we find that OMN? First of all, I know that angle at center is twice angle at circumference. That means this angle, the reflex angle at O, the reflex angle MOR is 2 times 124, which will be reflex angle. Let me write that. Reflex, let me shorten it that way. Reflex angle MOR equals 2 times 124. You know, this is it. The angle at circumference is 124, and the angle at center is going to be 2 times 124, which is equal to, you must make sure that where the angle at center is facing, where the angle at circumference is facing, is where the angle at center is facing to. That's a trick to make sure that you're not mixing things up. So that will be 2 times 124, which is 248 degrees. And the reason for that is angle at circumference is twice, angle at center is twice angle at circumference. So if this one is 248 degrees, then this angle will be 360 minus 248. 360 minus 248, and that's 112 degrees. So the obtuse angle MON is 112 degrees. And what does that mean? That simply means angle OMN. Therefore, angle OMN, maybe I can bring the diagram down so that we can see what we are doing. So that simply means angle, we can see that this simply means angle OMN plus, I can say that this is an equilateral, and I know that the sum of angles inside an equilateral is 360 degrees. So angle, why do I even, yeah, that's an equilateral. That's a quadrilateral rather, not an equilateral. This is a quadrilateral, and the sum of angles this is a quadrilateral, and the sum of angles inside the quadrilateral is 360 degrees. That simply means angle OMN plus 124 degrees plus 48 plus 112 degrees equals 360 degrees. The reason for that is sum of angles in a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. That simply means angle OMN equals, what is 124 plus 48 plus 112? Let's do that. 124 plus 48 plus 112 equals 284. So that simply means angle OMN equals 360 minus 284, and that's equal to 360 minus 284. That's equal to 76 degrees. Angle OMN is therefore equal to 76 degrees, and the correct option is A. Now let's go straight to the next, That's the next one is number 47. Let's see that 47. Simplify 3 root 12 plus 10 root 3 minus 6 over root 3. How do we do that? That's equal to, I know that root 12 is the same as root 4 times root 3, which simply means 2 times root 3, which is 2 root 3. So 3 root 12, this is 2 root 3. So 3 root 12 simply means 3 times 2 root 3 plus 10 root 3 minus 6 over root 3. And what does that mean? That simply means this will be 6 root 3. 6 root 3 plus 10 root 3 is 16 root 3 minus 6 over root 3. And now we can find the LCM. The LCM is going to be root 3. Of course, this is 16 root 3 over 1. Now, 1 in root 3 is root 3 times 16 root 3. 16 root 3 times root 3 is going to be 16 root 9, which is 16 times 3 minus root 3 divided by root 3 is 1 times 6 is 6. And that simply means that's equal to 16 times 3 is 48. 48 minus 6 is 42 over root 3. And we just rationalize to have 42 over root 3 times root 3 over root 3. And then we have 42 root 3 divided by root 3 times root 3 is root 9, which is 3, divided by 3. And 3 here 1. 3 in 42 is 14. And the answer is simply 14 root 3. Alright, that's it. We go straight to the next, which is number 48. What's 48? The truth set of 8 plus 2x minus x squared equals 0 is PQ. Evaluate P plus Q. Okay, that simply means let's solve this equation and the solutions will be PQ. So how do we do that? I can rewrite the equation as x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0 by taking everything on the left hand side to the right hand side. So that simply means, what do you do here? Multiply minus 8 by x squared. Minus 8 times x squared is minus 8x squared. I'm trying to solve it by the factorization method. Now think of two factors such that two factors whose product is minus 8x squared and whose sum is minus 2x. And those factors will be 2x minus 4x. So you replace minus 2x with 2x minus 4x. That's the only thing that will change. X squared plus 2x minus 4x minus 8 equals 0. And that simply means x into bracket x plus 2 minus 4 into bracket x plus 2 equals 0. And that simply means x minus 4 into bracket x plus 2 equals 0. And that simply means x minus 4 equals 0, which means x equals 4, or x plus 2 equals 0, which means x equals minus 2. So which means p is 4 and q is minus 2. So p plus q is therefore equal to 4 plus minus 2, which is 4 minus 2, and that's 2. And the correct option is C. We go straight to the next, which is number 49. We can see how simple the questions are. They are very, very cheap. Simplify. Find the gradient of the line passing through the point. Find the gradient of the line passing through the point. The first point has coordinates 1 over 2, 1 over 3. 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3. You just have to be careful. 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3. And the second point has coordinates 3, 2 over 3. Now, how do we find the gradient of a line passing through that point? Gradient is simply change in x over change in y. So the gradient is y2 minus y1, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and that's equal to y2 is 2 over 3 minus y1. y1 is minus 1 over 3 all over x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 1 over 2. And that simply means 2 over 3 minus 1 over 3 is the same as 2 plus 1 over 3, which is going to be 3 over 3. Or maybe I should write that first. 2 plus, it will be 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3 rather, divided by 3 minus 1 over 2 is the same as, 3 minus 1 over 2 is the same as, if we find, let me write this way, find LCM. The LCM is 2. 1 in 2 is 2 times 3 is 6, minus 2 in 2 is 1 times 1 1, and that simply means 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3 is 3 over 3, divided by the denominator becomes 5 over 2, and that simply means 3 over 3 times 2 over, this simply means 3 over 3 times 2 over 5, and that's the same as 2 over 5. 2 over 3 is actually the same as 1. That's the same as 2 over 5, and the correct option is D. Now we go straight to the next, and that's indeed the last one. Find for what values of x is x squared plus 2 over 10x squared over 10x squared minus 13x minus 3 undefined. For a rational function to be undefined, then its denominator must be equal to 0. That means the values of x for which this is undefined is obtained when 10x squared, which is the denominator, minus 13x minus 3 is equal to 0. Let's see, we can solve this by the factorization method too. How do we do that? Multiply the constant by the first term, the one which has the squared, the first term which has x squared. Minus 3 times 10x squared is going to be minus 30x squared. And that simply means now you think of two factors whose product is minus 30x squared and whose sum is minus 13x. Those factors are whose product is minus 30x squared and whose sum is minus 13x squared. Okay, what are those factors? Those factors are 2x and minus 15x. You can see that 2x plus minus 15x is minus 13x. And at the same time, 2x times minus 15x will give us minus 30x squared. So you replace minus 13x with 2x minus 15x. That's the only thing that will change in the equation. So it becomes 10x squared plus 2x minus 15x minus 3 equals 0. And that simply means 2x into bracket 5x plus 1 minus 3 into bracket 5x plus 1 equals 0. And that means 2x minus 3 into bracket 5x plus 1 equals 0. Now that means 2x minus 3 equals 0, which means 2x equals 3, or 5x plus 1 equals 0, which means 5x equals minus 1. And that therefore means x equals 3 over 2, or x equals minus 1 over 5. And the correct option is 3 over 2 minus 1 over 5. The correct option is C. And that's it, very, very simply. Math is always a piece of cake. Just learn the theorems and practice. That's all. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next. Bye-bye.